I just want to state up top for anyone listening that if you want to watch a show about war at home, you should instead watch Ken Burns' Civil War.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes. Welcome to Bottle Episodes. I'm David Piccolomini.
I'm Daniel Crow.
And this week we're joined by guest
Kevin Froleiks. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Kevin.
For everyone who's not aware of the format of the show, as every week we get thousands of new listeners.
Well, get ready to turn that into millions with
All right.
the big KF on the pod.
The basic idea is we watch a poorly rated show, and we watch the pilot episode for a baseline, and then we watch the highest rated episode to see if it ever got good. And today is The War at Home.
Yeah, Michael Rappaport's star vehicle. I don't want to say star making. I think he was already
Not star making. I think he really just stayed the course that Michael Rappaport was, which was to be old man Bill Burr when he was like young man Bill Burr age. It's really amazing to see.
He has been a crotchety old man the entire time.
Yeah.
In the 90s, even.
Yes. Yeah. He's been every boomer dad in the early 2000s.
If this show was a person, when it would stand up, it would slap its legs and go, "Welp." That's the sort of person it would be.
It would make a noise when it sat down.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Jesus Christ.
Michael Rappaport's for when you want a young guy to act like an old guy, but also act a little black.
Do you need?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you need an angry Mike O'Malley? Do I have the guy for you?
Mike O'Malley, the pride of the University of New Hampshire, where I went to school.
I love Mike O'Malley.
He's great.
Unironically.
He's great.
Well, I'll give you your moment to plug your favorite show.
Survivor's Remorse. You've never heard of it?
No, I have not.
It's written by Mike O'Malley. It's about LeBron James's life.
What is it? What?
Yep. The host of Guts, Mike O'Malley, frog guy of fucking The Good Place.
Yeah, The Good Place. He likes frogs.
He loves frogs.
And he's the dopey husband on Yes Dear.
Oh yeah, exactly. That guy wrote a cathartic, beautiful, like full of pathos, funny show.
Yeah. He is a good actor. I've seen some of his
stars.
He's done a few like independent films, and they would always screen them at my college because I also went to University of New Hampshire. It was like hometown hero Mike O'Malley writes a thing, and they were always like these like really well written dramas and very low budget because they're like, that's just the guy from Guts. But it's like, yeah, he's very talented.
Speaking of him being a good actor, he probably could have played the lead role better than Michael Rappaport.
I think now if we're going to go into the section on what would make this show better, yeah, Mike O'Malley instead of Michael Rappaport would be a huge upgrade and replace Vicky. Even though I do like that actress in that role, like that is exactly who sitcom wife should be. But get Mo
Anita
from Global
Baru.
Guts. Get Mo.
Oh yeah.
Like throw that in. Really
reunion.
Okay.
Yeah. Have all
one of
the kids be played by former contestants.
People who got the crag. That's who gets cast.
One of those guys was a Backstreet Boy later on.
Really?
What?
Yeah, on like an early episode of Guts.
In Guts.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, he became a
Howie D?
I don't remember which Backstreet Boy.
I thought
one
you
of them
meant
is
in
on
this
Guts.
show, and I was like, how in time?
No, but the son that they're like, is he gay? He was on all that.
Phew,
Yeah.
Yes, he was. And I was like, why do I remember this kid? And yeah, he was like on that second cast of all that, like after the
and then
Kenan
his
Kel.
friend was in some stuff. I just can't remember what though.
You mean his friend Rami Malek?
Yeah, Rami
who I
Malek.
stopped the episode cold and was like, oh my God. Because also, this is... All right, so this is from 2005. I watched it on YouTube, and it was a little grainy because it was clearly like a low-res transfer from either, a VHS or a DVD that somebody had made or something.
Yeah.
But like, and I was like casting it to my bigger TV, so it was very grainy, and I was like, but there's no missing that Rami Malek jawline and
that
creepy
accent.
eyes. And that accent.
The way he
it's very
talks
specific.
is Walken-esque almost. You can know it's him.
To say that that character is offensive to the LGBT community would really undermine how offensive his portrayal of Freddie Mercury was.
Okay, well, can I make a couple points here about the offensiveness of how gay people are treated in this show?
Please, because we're going to have to talk about it.
When you search The War at Home on YouTube, there are several videos with millions upon millions of views that are just Rami Malek being a gay icon in The War at Home.
One of them is 2 hours long.
And all the comments are just like, yes, slay Rami.
You want to know something crazy that I learned?
Is this about the creator of the show? because he's an openly gay man.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's great.
So that's why it's so weird how gay people are portrayed in
that
this.
is interesting. No, the thing I was going to bring up is that, and this doesn't, well, I guess it kind of comes into play for the second episode, and I know I'm derailing the whole format here, but, I guess we'll talk about it when we get to the second episode, but obviously Kenny is now living with the family, with Michael Rappaport's family in the second season.
Is he?
Kenny is Rami Malek. For anyone.
Kenny is Rami
No, I
Malek's.
understand. Yeah, but is he?
Yeah, no, they allude to that in the episode.
Oh,
we
okay.
watched.
Yeah, so he lives in there, and I also need to admit that after watching the 2 episodes that I was supposed to watch, I went down a rabbit hole and watched like 5 other ones, including one that I'll talk about at the end because I don't want to derail us entirely. But yeah, so Kenny lives with them because he comes out to his very like conservative Muslim parents, and they kick him out of the house and then moves in. But the way it's treated for 2005, 2006, whenever that episode happened to come out, the way it's treated won the show a GLAAD award, like a
Wow.
like an award for how they portray LGBT folks on television, which is crazy because you know what happened in season 1? The opposite. And it was panned for being like too offensive.
Yeah,
and too like, wow, you really did an All in the Family married with children without any of the things that made that acceptable by 80s and 70s standards.
You need a Mike O'Malley to give emotional depth.
Yes.
To be like, oh, this is a guy. I understand, as opposed to what a weird caricature.
And it is interesting you bring up that it was panned because the reviews that I could find were terrible. I think it was like 26 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Something like that, yeah.
But if you go on IMDb, it has 7.5. People genuinely that watched it liked the show.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
the audience meter is like 80%. But like,
I think the people that watched it were, I think there was a disconnect between the guy who created it and the people that watched it.
yeah.
I think he might have been trying to make fun of Michael Rappaport's character. And they were just like, that's me.
Yeah,
Well, that happens. That happens.
That
a
happened
lot.
All in the Family famously. Like everybody watched it because people were either like, we're making fun of Archie Bunker, or people are like, this guy gets it. Archie Bunker is me.
He's
And
saying what I think.
yeah,
It
it's the
didn't
same with like Blazing Saddles when
it
like
didn't
people
even-
who are pieces
Oh,
of shit will
even
be like,
modern
oh,
stuff.
this guy gets to say it, I get to say it.
It didn't even occur to me that it was meant to be, he was meant to be the joke until I learned that the creator was gay. He doesn't do a good job of getting it across.
No, it is.
Dare I say, with that in mind, the show may be offensive to straight people.
Wow. Can I just say, if you're wondering who watched this show, I used to watch this show every week because it was part of like the Fox Sunday night lineup.
Yeah.
So I would watch it before like The Simpsons and King of the Hill came on. It was like the live action show before that animation domination section of, so like I watched it probably from the beginning, which, by the way, if you didn't know, now you know, the pilot aired September 11th, 2005.
Finally, something to bump up in the power rankings of worst September 11th in American history.
Well, you have to bring the country together.
Yeah.
Oh man!
I think we
Just
should
a
probably-
moment of silence.
A moment of silence, and then, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Rappaport.
We should probably explain what the show is for anyone unaware.
yeah.
Okay, so The Ward Home is a show about Michael Rappaport and Anita Barone as Vicky and Dave Gold, who are their parents to teenagers. One who's kind of gay, but just might be weird.
He outright is not gay. His just
Yeah.
best friend is gay.
He doesn't know what he's
So they
doing
think-
yet. Yeah.
No, he does that whole
No, it's established.
Yeah.
He does that whole cutaway where he's like, ladies, call me.
Ladies, call me.
Oh yeah. He's gonna find out he's bisexual. That's
That
It's
wasn't
2005.
that wasn't invented until 2014.
Just
so
because
it's
you're
impossible.
just because you're hoping to cash in on your fan fiction about him doesn't mean it's inevitable.
ooh, you really are all that, Larry Gold. Okay, and then Hillary Gold, who's an angsty teenage girl of the form, and Mike Gold, the weird young kid.
Not even that weird.
Not even
Just
that
wants
weird.
a PlayStation.
Well, yeah, that's the next episode is he gets a little weirder.
He
But
gets
yeah, that
weirder
is
by the
his
end.
arc in the first one is trying to get a PlayStation.
I did a cursory glance of that guy's Wikipedia. He's in his 30s now, and it looks like he co-hosts a podcast with Michael Rappaport.
Oh,
So they-
incredible.
So that means Michael Rappaport in 2005 befriended a 12-year-old.
Wow.
And is kept in contact.
That's the sequel to May December nobody asked for.
Mike, he co-hosts a podcast with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it also about the war at home?
I don't know, but it gets more listeners than this, so I'm not going to go criticizing a more successful podcast.
Michael Rappaport definitely has a Google alert for war at home, so he's going to find out about this. We're going to get that
Michael Rappaport.
That Rappaport bump.
Out of everyone that we've talked about, I feel like Michael Rappaport would be the one to listen.
No, Steven Seagal.
Yeah, you're right. No, Dean Collins also in one episode of Community, probably one of their worst episodes. It's the one with teenagers from the first season where they just kind of go do-doy at each other for 7 seasons. Who is this podcast for?
Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport.
Hey, Mike.
Loved you and big fan.
Oh, yeah, he is good at that.
He's the Eagles fan. Yeah.
So the war at home, the first episode is they come out
strong. I think you should just go about basically it's a dad who's like, I don't understand the kids today. Used to be easier back in my dad's day.
In my dad's
back
day,
when All in the Family was on the air discussing this exact same issue.
The opening is, he's just like, when my dad had a problem, what did he do? Oh, yeah, he drank, and then he drinks scotch. But the opening is literally him getting furious at Mary Tyler Moore and women's liberation. Like, that is the cold open. It breaks the fourth wall. That's like a trope of the show, is that mostly Michael Rappaport, but other characters will have like inner monologues where they're just in like a blank white room.
Yeah, it's
monologue. Was that Titus that did that?
I feel like Titus might have done it. I don't. It's been forever since I've seen
Everybody
that show.
Hates Chris would have that kind of
it's
it's almost like a Wonder Years type of thing.
Reality TV had just come out and like been as big as it is. So people were aping that form to do the talk to camera thing.
The confession type of thing. Yeah, so that's a good point. Yeah.
But these are not like confessions to camera. These are almost Shakespearean monologues.
Yeah.
They walk around the room waving their hands around.
Yeah. If and when I develop The War at Home into a stage musical, it will just be everyone freezes in tableau and one character then soliloquizes about, I don't know, how much they hate their wife or whatever.
Okay, so someone, listen, you say that did kind of happen to Riverdale, where someone loved Archie so much that they made a weird staged reading or stage play of it that was so weird that they got it canceled. The Archie comics got it canceled. That man ended up directing the show, running the series.
Whoa, that's
because
amazing.
He loved Archie he's the only guy that loved Archie that much.
Wow, I don't love this show that much. So if that happened to me, it would be a prison of my own making. What a CW reboot of War at Home.
The only way it would ever end up like rebooted is if Rami Malek has some weird soft spot for it being the first thing he was in.
Oh my god! If it's Rami Malek's family and now he's the prejudiced father by 2023 standards, would watch that. All right.
It's just a gay man who doesn't understand trans issues.
Yeah, yeah, he's one of those. Yeah, what's the group that was at like the comic strip and is like a shitty like right wing group, but it's all like boys. It's LGB members who are very
gays against groomers. That's what it is.
Yes, that's what it is.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What a weird group of hate.
Yeah. I don't think Rami Malek ever would try to reboot it because you can tell a big difference in his demeanor in the first and second season.
Yes.
Because in between, he does Night at the Museum.
Wow.
And so I remember seeing Night at the Museum like in theaters.
Yeah. And
he just had such a distinctive look that every time I saw him pop up from then, I was like, I know that guy. That's the Pharaoh from Night at the Museum. So, like, in a way, it made him a known actor.
Casting him as the Pharaoh in Night in the Museum, somehow more offensive than his casting in War at Home.
I think he's actually Egyptian.
No, he is Egyptian. Yeah, he is Egyptian.
Okay, but why couldn't he be Teddy Roosevelt, huh? Open your minds.
Because Robin Williams was available and a bigger star, and you need to sell some tickets.
Well, why couldn't Robin Williams be the Pharaoh?
Well, that would be. I think we've circled back to the issue that you had initially.
Kevin, is this an episode of The War at Home you're writing?
I think so. Kenny gets cast in a Ben Stiller film.
It's a colorblind.
Yes. I'm sorry. I thought this was. I've become so progressive. I come all the way around.
I like a colorblind version of The War at Home, where because a big part of this first episode is that he's mad that his daughter's dating a black guy.
Oh my god!
But just imagine a colorblind version where that actor is Asian, but they keep calling him black the whole episode.
Oh my god! Yeah. So the episode opens with Michael Rappaport being furious that women get to work now. Because in his day, he was like, dad worked, mom stayed home, and now everybody works and nobody's in charge. What are we supposed to do?
I'm mad at Mary Tyler Moore.
Mad at Mary Tyler Moore for being the first career woman and gave women all these ideas about how they could do more with their life. And
Mary Tyler Moore has been brought up in a shocking number of episodes of this
Really?
podcast.
Yeah, that's how
We've
good
never-
her sitcom was.
Yeah.
Is that it pissed off a whole generation of future
Or just
sitcoms.
like an actor from her show isn't a thing, or some writers. Her and Carol Burnett keep getting brought up in these episodes
Yeah.
through no fault of their own. It's just weird how
No.
often they get brought up.
Yeah.
Do they probably have bad shows we could cover.
Well, you know,
All right.
we've already brought them up enough.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, the main crux of the first episode is she wants to date this guy,
An
and then,
older man, a
an old-
freshman in college. She's 16, a freshman, sophomore, whatever. In
she's
college.
trying to fuck a 19-year-old,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
which
guess.
is creepy the other way. I get like,
I mean, like
It's-
age-wise, it's like, all right. I guess that's not that. But there is
they're
something
both
about
teens.
there
but
is
it's-
something about the college person who's like.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing. It's like, oh, they were dating in high school. Now one's a couple years older. Like, but different. If you're just like, hey, I'm gonna take the weekend off from college to go cruise around this Long Island high school.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's let's be honest, is he in college? Wait, he is in college. Never mind.
He's in college. Yeah,
He's a college freshman.
they're like, yeah, because that
Like
so
18
the,
He might be
probably.
lying
the
about
episode.
that.
No, the episode opens with Larry and Hillary fighting with each other, and the parents are hiding out smoking cigarettes in the garage to hide from their children because it's really funny when parents hate their kids. That was a trope in the 2000s.
Yeah.
There's actually a weird dynamic shared between the first episode and the other episode we watched, because in the first episode, Michael Rappaport finds his wife in the garage smoking cigarettes, and he's like,
Yeah.
you need to quit. That's bad. And then the other episode we watched from the second season, he's smoking weed. His wife's like, you need to quit. That's bad. I feel like there's no internal consistency
No,
with this
no,
show.
No.
There is a solid joke where she's like, "Oh, you're gonna make me quit cigarettes? What about that porn you keep in your sock drawer?" And then her little cutaway joke, and she's like, "I don't mind the porn. Honestly, it's one less thing I have to do around the house." And I'm like, "Solid joke.
They hate each other.
They hate each other, and that's like a really, a fun PG rated way of her saying, "Go fuck yourself." I
yeah,
guess so.
she doesn't have to. I'm tired of giving hand jobs.
Right? Yeah.
That's what
Anita
the show should have
Barone.
been called.
Yeah.
The war at hand jobs.
Yeah. But yeah, they're fighting and then they like kind of tattle on each other and like she's making fun of Larry and then he's like, well, Hillary's about to go on a date with a senior and she's like, he's not a senior. He's a freshman in college and that's the backtrack
fight.
there. And it's like he has his own car and then and Michael Rappaport establishes that his only rule for dating his daughter is if she sees your penis, he'll cut it off. So
Yep. Real, just classic Rappaport.
classic dad, also actively hoping that his son, who he immediately, the first scene we see of Larry is him snapping his fingers along to West Side Story, and he's like, gay son,
Uh-oh.
I wish that he would fuck a college freshman in a car. Like it's that kind of vibe.
Perfect
immediately.
double standard. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway,
His loving musicals is never brought up again.
Sure isn't. It's just it's shorthand for. Then there's like a weird like 2000s indie rock cover of "I Feel Pretty" that keeps playing. Like,
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he's
When
dressing in drag.
he's
throughout the
dressing in
episode.
yeah.
But that's all part of a plan
yeah.
to pretend to be his mom so he can drive a car
Yes.
To get girls.
to impress girls. But he left.
Right.
Just drive the car.
Just steal the car.
Just steal the car.
Well, his plan was I'm going to put a blonde wig on and then, put fake boobs under my mom's blouse. And then if anyone sees me driving a car when I'm underage and don't have a license, they'll just assume that's his mom, Vicky, driving. Flawless plan. But then he forgets to take it off. And then the girls make fun of him and he doesn't become a well-oiled sex machine.
I just think
Was that
Also
was the
solid-
phrase he used, right?
Yes, a well-oiled sex machine. And then Rami Malek throws in a prison rape joke with, or you get arrested for stealing your mom's car and go to prison and then become a well-oiled sex machine. I was like, woo,
What?
2000s prison rape
I'm
humor.
imagining Rami Malek on Inside the Actors Studio and James Lipton just being like, what would you consider the highlight of your career? He'd be like, well, there was this prison rape joke I did in 2005.
We've met Rami Malek, but can we meet Kenny from the war?
So then, that's the whole. But they tease that out the entire episode.
The whole episode is the parents are horrified that their son is gay, and that Vicky's a little better about it, but marginally
Not
so, and
really.
really only by the standards of like the early 2000s and like knowing what I know, friends of mine who were in the closet in high school, like it was like if it was that Seinfeldy thing, we're like, not that there's anything wrong with that,
Yeah.
but it's like the tone is like clearly there's something wrong with it. And then Michael Rappaport's character is very much just like like at one point
You
he's
love
just like,
tits?
at one point Michael Rappaport is like, so how's it going with the girls? Hey, that Lindsay Lohan's got some big old gazongas, hon.
Which
I
is
looked it
unfair.
up.
It's unfair to his daughter because Lindsay Lohan would have been like 19.
I did look it up. I was like, oh my God, please tell me that Lindsay Lohan wasn't like 50, like, please tell me this wasn't Parent Trap era, which I know was like 90s, but yeah, she had like barely turned 18. So you could tell that the writer was just like, all right, we can legally do it. It's still gross, but
It is
and
funny,
he even says like, he's like, I see still my son and or daughter. And there's like, very transphobic, just outdated, like, everything. He talks to his coworker and is just like, you have a gay son, right? And they're just like, the coworker, by the way, played by the guy from Heavyweights, the counselor from Heavyweights, and the
Tom McGowan.
Tom McGowan, and the tabloid journalist from the Birdcage who's following around Gene Hackman. And I was like, that's that guy. And he's just like, it's rough having a gay son. I tried to send him to one of those gay straight conversion places, but now he's dating a doctor he met at the conversion place. And it's like, God, like,
And it's weird knowing like that the tone was supposed to be satire.
It's played for, I don't even know if it's
but it's like that, like I get the joke they're going for there.
But I can't tell if it's satirizing guys who talk like this or if it's satirizing like, you believe that all these kids these days.
And that's, I mean, there's also, I think it's part of the problem is there's also like gay misogyny is very weird.
Yeah, yes.
And so a lot of the way it's written about women is just like mean. So it's hard to tell if that is the same vein as the homophobia.
You know what's weird?
Yeah.
Michael Rappaport looks pretty much the same today as he did during this show.
Yeah.
Which means he aged well, but the show didn't. Good for Michael.
You know what they say about gingers? Boy, can they linger.
What?
Like, I don't know.
I've never heard that.
No, I just made it up now.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It took me a second.
Great, but yeah.
So then the main meat of the story is Hillary Gold. Since she can't date a college guy, she'll date a black high schooler.
Oh God! And the way this
Named
is played
Booty?
for laughs, Boutte. Yeah.
Boutte, yeah.
Played by Little Fizz.
Yes.
The Little Fizz?
Yep.
I didn't know there were 2 Academy Award winners in this show.
Yeah. She can't date the college guy, so she's like, "Oh, mom, dad, sorry about that, but there's a guy from my class, my age that I want you to meet. I like him." And then, isn't it funny? She brings in a black guy, and he's got a do-rag and a gold chain and baggy pants, and they are horrified in a way that is not okay.
When that guy came in, because that's what I expected the joke to be.
Oh, really?
But when he came in the room, I was just watching this alone, and I went, "Yep."
Yeah.
That's exactly what I expected the joke to be.
Yeah. And then the whole joke is that she's basically like bribing this guy to drive her parents crazy. And the mom is caught wise right away because she's like, "Oh, I did this too." And like when I dated a black guy, like I did the same thing to my mom. And then Michael Rappaport freaks out that his wife has also slept with a black guy.
Yeah.
Not only a black guy, but a few. And that's a crux of a couple of scenes there, including the tag at the end when Tay's father shows up and he's just like, "Did you sleep with him too?" And it's yeah. It's wild how they play it. And then they try to do that. I was surprised they even threw this in, but then you find out that Hillary's been doing Tay's homework to bribe him for this, and the dad is like, he had an A average and now he's getting B's because your daughter is doing
stupid.
And it's like,
It's been like 2 weeks. How did that happen so
I know,
quick?
yeah. How much homework are they getting where it could bring down the average that way?
Actually, wait, I'm just now realizing something because so she brings Boutte home,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get a montage of them hanging out, which implies some time passes.
Yeah,
But at the start of the episode, we see the son trying out dressing as his mom.
yeah.
like,
It's a
the
long
start-
con.
it's
that
the
son is
start of his
running.
plan.
He's Shawshank Redemption in this
Yes.
costume.
Because there's the montage, and then he does that plan.
Yeah.
He's been planning this for months.
Yes, yeah.
Way
A
too
very
long.
simple
Well, he knows
plan.
there's a girl, I think her name's Diana. He says we never see her, and they really do a tell don't show with the payoff of the drag scene. But yeah, he is putting together a costume, and he's going to drive to this girl's house, and then gets there, and presumably it doesn't go well, and then you just see the car pull out with him and Remy Malik, and then crosswipe, and they come back, and he's just like, "I can't believe you messed that up," and then
It's insane. That's the whole plan.
Yeah.
They didn't bring. He just spent so much time getting dressed like that.
Yeah. And
Months. He spent months.
Yeah. And then the joke after that is Remy Malek's character asks him if he wants to come over and listen to the new Kelly Clarkson. And Larry says, you're so gay sometimes. And then Remy Malek gets a little soliloquy part. And he's like, he's just joking. He doesn't know, right? And then that is the
big reveal.
I can't imagine that this was a live studio audience. Like, it's clearly canned laughter, but just the way it's shot. Like, it is
Even
a
if they
multicam.
tried to film with a live studio audience, they would have all killed themselves in the middle of the
that's
first
that's true. Yeah,
Jesus
but they
Christ.
just like the amount of like hallway shots or outdoor shots. Like, they couldn't have done like it's clearly studio mostly, but I'm like, I don't know if they. So it's all just like and then we put the laughter in here because now it's funny that Remy Malek's closeted teenager.
Knowing that the creator is an openly gay man, he should
Yeah.
have had a better reference than Kelly Clarkson there.
True. Yeah.
Although
that was
2005?
that's like
I
first
don't
season.
know.
That's like first season.
I never thought of her as
American
having
Idol, I
a
think.
large gay audience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine mostly minivan moms listening to Kelly
Both.
Clarkson.
I mean, if you're shopping for one, you're shopping for the other. So they're both.
I would have gone Beyonce.
At that point, though, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crazy in Love?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Great. That would have
Great.
also worked.
That would have also fixed this episode.
That was the one thing that was missing. Now that we've added,
It's a good show
Beyonce,
now.
Yeah.
I like it now.
And then classic sitcom fashion, there's a C plot with Mike, the youngest brother, who just wants a PlayStation.
He
goes
wants,
to his
quote,
friends.
the new PlayStation.
The new PlayStation, which was that the 2 or was that
I
the 3
think
at that point?
I think the 3 hadn't quite come out
yeah,
yet.
I was trying to remember. I remember
Maybe the
everybody had
3
the
was-
2.
It was like a year away.
Okay. This was high school.
They didn't want
for
it to
me, so-
age, so they
The
just
new
said the new PlayStation. It's a
Oh,
PlayStation
yeah.
5
They
now.
knew it was going to
Yeah.
run in syndication forever.
Yeah. But Mike goes to his friend's house, even though he's boring, but also they throw in a thing where it's like, but Seth's mom, I think his name's Seth, he says. But
Oh.
he's like, his mom just got a boob job. And Michael Rappaport's like, tell me when you need a ride home. I want to get a look at these.
Call back to a past episode, but I choose to believe that is the same Seth from I Live with Models.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
That was an episode we did, and there was
Yeah.
a character named Seth who would just keep asking. He would go up to him and be like, "Hey, do you want to overdose on crystal Seth?" He would do jokes like that.
Wow.
We're not really sure how he got to become friends with the models.
No,
No.
it's unclear.
Yeah. Yeah. But Mikey sees Larry get out of the car in his getup and then uses it to blackmail some. I don't know what his plan was actually. I don't know if he thought like, if I out my gay brother, I will get a PlayStation as a reward. I don't exactly know what the plan was.
Oh
but
no, he
gets like a mischievous little grin and is like, "Hey,
The plan was because he knew his dad would want to know, and he could get. He's like, I've got a secret that you're gonna want.
because he knows his dad is a bigot and
Yeah.
will really go to town with this goss."
Yeah, basically.
Okay, wow.
And so he's gonna.
I see why those are the two that have a podcast together now.
My brother's gonna get abused, but
Yeah.
I'll get a PlayStation out of
Yeah.
this that will drown out the screams.
Yeah.
Wonder what games he was into.
Mm.
Probably Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah.
Just Grand Theft Auto
Mhm.
3. I guess with that, which one's 3?
I have no
It's
idea.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
And then Vice City.
I think San Andreas and then Vice City, but maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah, you're losing me.
Yeah, I didn't play a lot of Grand Theft Auto.
No, I didn't play a lot of video games in general. So
I had to quit.
yeah. Carpal tunnel.
Sports
injury.
Yeah, sports injury. No,
There was a guy who had to sit out the World Series, I think, because he injured his hand playing Guitar Hero
Oh wow.
Oh, incredible!
on the
Wow.
Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you
So
can't
worst
get a
thing that
sports
happened in
industry.
Detroit.
Yeah, you can't get a sports industry injury doing video games. So.
yeah.
How does Michael Rappaport get so much work?
Does he still?
Well,
Yeah.
Has he been in stuff recently?
Life and Beth.
TikTok. He's big on TikTok.
Okay.
It was recently on an episode of The Simpsons. I remember he was in
Huh?
Only Murders in the Building,
Really?
Atypical. Yeah.
The thing is, Michael Rappaport, when he comes in and
I
does
think
the
it's 'cause he's available. Like,
yeah, well, no, he does the Michael Rappaport character, and
Yeah.
those guys exist,
yeah.
and you know what they don't become? Actors.
Ah,
Michael Rappaport is the only guy like that
Yeah. He caught the brass ring for that guy.
Yeah, who didn't think it was too gay to take acting classes.
Right.
There's a million of them, and they're all just like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So instead, he took acting classes and then starred in a sitcom where he calls people gay for taking acting classes, essentially.
And
and the cycle was complete.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it seem like we're, criticizing Mike Rapport for what he does. I think he can be quite good. Have you guys seen that Louis episode he's in? He's very good in that.
I don't remember it, but I don't know.
Nothing problematic about that episode.
No,
I haven't rewatched Louis in a while.
he's just like a sad guy with no friends that really wants to be Louis' friend, and you really feel for him.
He's also in this movie Little Boy. About a little boy who wants the war to end.
The war at home? Jinx, you owe me a Michael Rappaport.
He's available.
So he wants, it's like World War I or World War II. I think it's World War II. And he does it by saying he has enough faith to move a mountain. And spoiler alert, there's an earthquake. But Michael Rappaport plays his dad, who's at war in the entire movie.
I hope, and he's just Michael Rappaport. Like, he's not doing like 40s slang. He's just like, what's going on with this Hitler guy? I don't know. My dad, when he went to Germany, he had the Kaiser and it was fine. And now we got this guy. I don't know what to do. Yeah. By the way, I'm Jewish, so I could say these things. If we want to talk about the fact that he's Jewish, one joke I do remember seeing was, it was the first time I'd ever heard this, and I laughed when George Santos tried to pull the same thing, but Vicky has a line in a different episode where she's like, well, my husband is Jew-ish, and and I'm sure every Jewish mother has made the same joke ever. But then when George Santos did it, I was like, he's just ripping off Vicky from War at Home.
Big War at Home fan.
Yeah. I mean, he plagiarized everything else, so you might as well,
this is Michael Rappaport's opening sentence on his IMDb. A true Zionist New Yorker.
Oh, wow.
Through and through.
Well, I'll save it for the end because I know we got to talk about a whole other episode.
Yeah, let's get to, because the episode ends with them being like, the guy coming in and ending the Little Fizz's dad. Booty's dad.
Yeah, Booty's dad comes in.
They find out they used to fuck.
It's implied. They hang out at a PTA meeting, but at the very least, Vicky is into Omar, Tay's dad. Tay's dad. But then Michael Rappaport's character is way too excited that it was a sham relationship. He's way too excited about that. And then you find out that Hillary and Tay have fallen for each other and they're making out upstairs, and then the audience goes, oh my god, guess who's coming to dinner,
he's in 8 episodes.
They date, and I watched a couple more from this season, and it is an ongoing thing. There's an episode where Hillary has been going down on Lil Fizz, but he has not been reciprocating, and so she's angry the whole time, and then she tells the dad a PG version of this, and then the dad confronts Tay, and he's like, she told you about that? He's like, yes, we're a very open family here, so if she does something nice for you, damn it, I need you to do something nice for her. And he's like, okay, sir, I'll let her know that you told me that. And it's a whole joke about
that. Seems relatively nice
compared to this first episode where literally every scene you think, well, this can't get any worse, and the next scene would somehow dig deeper into this 2000s misogyny, homophobia, racist. I was blown away at how many things it checked off the list of does not hold up.
Well, good news. It gets worse in the next episode.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Zero Tolerance, I think is
it's called Zero Tolerance. And
we've watched a lot of shows for this podcast. This had a scene that for the first time I had to look away from the screen.
Ooh.
Really?
When the child flirts with the priest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was viscerally uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
The B story
and I didn't look away from the screen once during Ren and Stimpy's Adult Party cartoon. I had to look away from the screen during this.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, Larry is suspended from school for having pot.
Yep.
And
Twist. Principal played by Martin Mull.
Love Martin Mull. just
if you think Michael Rappaport is available, need I introduce you?
Martin Mull's getting Clue and Jingle All the Way residuals
Yeah.
still. He doesn't need to work.
No, but he loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Martin Mull's great, and I'm sorry. With Andrea Savage's show, he plays her dad, and he just he gets high all the time, and is in like an open relationship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's really funny. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
played for uncomfortability.
Every year at Christmas, I make mulled wine, and I always call it Martin mulled wine, and I put a picture of him in Jingle All the Way next to the punch bowl, and it's a great joke for just me.
You look like that. You look like you do that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, you look like young Martin Mull. I kind of do.
In
Yeah.
a
little bit,
flashback,
too.
I could see it.
Yeah.
If I could play him, I could play a young Colonel Mustard. Like
I think the weird thing is, it just speaks to how old Martin Mull is that you're playing a young version of him still.
Sure. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. But yeah, he's the principal and suspends Larry for having a joint, and then
Is he the principal in Sabrina the Teenage Witch as well?
oh my god, yeah,
Is
he is
this
in
a
that.
crossover?
He is in that. Do you think it's the same school?
I think so.
It's-
I think Sabrina attended that all-boys Catholic school in this episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, no, he's the principal
He's
of the
the principal
public
of the
school.
regular school.
Yeah,
They have
This
a
could
zero
be-
tolerance policy at the school.
But he never mentions the zero tolerance policy against magic, so it could be the same.
That's true. But yeah, so he gets suspended. Michael Rappaport finds out it was his joint because, when you just take your dad's jacket by mistake, very
And you're a
sitcom-y.
teenager, and it's the same size.
Yeah. You, a 15-year-old, are
Or
the
this
same size as your middle-aged giant dad.
Something like that happened for my 8th grade graduation. They told all of us, all the boys, they gave us a dress code, like, hey, come in a jacket, and they meant a sport coat.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine didn't really understand, and he came in a leather jacket.
Oh wow!
And so they had to find just someone in the audience that had a sport coat, and he ended up wearing an adult sport coat. And we walked across stage,
And he just
looking
looked
like David Byrne.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say looking like Tom Hanks at the end of
Yeah.
Big when he turns back into a kid.
Yeah. That's what would have happened to this kid if he had worn Michael Rappaport's jacket to school.
For sure. But somehow he found a joint, and then somehow also like somebody I don't know. What do we think happened? Do you think he found it and then was like, "Teacher, I found marijuana"? I'm like, "Well, now we have to
report you
for bringing marijuana into school."
Yeah, how
Or
did they find it?
are there dogs?
He
Like,
probably
this is like right before drug sniffing dogs were in every high school.
So I
and
was wondering that during the episode, but then at the end, when we find out Martin Mull is in Pot Smokers Anonymous, I figured he's just got a scent for it.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
true,
He smelled it.
Yeah.
You're right.
smelled it out. Yep. But yeah, so he gets suspended. He immediately rats out his dad. Like I thought there was going to be a
As
fun.
he should.
Sure, but I was like, oh, it's going to be a sitcom-y thing where like the dad keeps being like, oh, I'll give you want ice cream or you want a PlayStation now too, and just like I thought that was going to be the thing, and
But
immediately he goes
immediately-
and he's like, Mom, I got suspended because Dad had a joint in his pocket, and then the mom gets mad at Dave for smoking pot because she thought he quit. And he's like, I just do a little toke every now and then. I hate my kids. I hate my wife. What am I supposed to do?
Honestly, this may have been much braver at the time to have him like smoke. Although I guess he learns a lesson at the end.
He learns he has an addiction to marijuana.
Once weed was mentioned for the first time in the episode, I started counting down the minutes until Snoop Dogg got referenced, and I only had to wait about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, the priest is like, what's a little bit of marijuana? He's like, a little. Well, I mean, like, compared to who? Compared to you? Sure, yeah. Compared to Snoop Doggy Dogg?
Oh, man, his
Just
favorite.
the thickest Long Island Snoop Doggy Dogg?
Oh, it is. Speaking of this, it is weird that Michael Rappaport was offended that she had slept with any black people when he is just been doing an impression of a black person for 30 years.
If anyone has fucked over the African American community more, it's Michael Rappaport's whole vibe.
Yeah, that should have just been played by, this whole role should have just been played by a competent black man.
Yeah.
So then it's hard to do the...
Vicky should have married Omar. That would have made the show
Anthony
better.
Anderson would have crushed this show.
And Are We There Yet? Is he in Are We There Yet?
Isn't that Ice Cube?
Is it Ice Cube?
Is it?
There's
he
a- there's
might be
some-
both. He might be in both.
There's
Like,
a family sitcom that's Anthony Anderson. I remember they did an
Blackish?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's
Maybe that's what I'm
Blackish.
thinking of. Okay.
Also, Are We There Yet is a film.
Well, then they made a TV show off of it, and I couldn't remember.
Well, looks like we've got something for the pod.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're
I'm
welcome.
assuming.
I'll
Yeah,
take my
that's-
finder's fee.
That's already on the list. Please.
Yeah. But yeah, the B plot, while Michael Rappaport is now homeschooling Larry in the month that he's suspended, and then also trying to get him into a Catholic school, which great way to tie together the A and B plots. But the B plot is Mike and another friend of his who is also Jewish go to some like Catholic youth organization to try to.
I think they both go to that school. I went to an all boys Catholic school. There were Jewish kids there.
But why would Mike go to if everyone else goes to the public school? I thought
Maybe
they were
he's a
just
scholar and has a scholarship.
Maybe I thought he was just going to the CYO to pick up hot Catholic girls. That's what, and I'm basing that off of what he explicitly says.
But he rolls into the priest's office the next day in the middle of school hours, implying he goes there.
Well, he was just shooting some hoops on the court, and
I don't. I'm going to leave the room if we talk about this scene. I really hated it.
So he's there, and he's like, these girls aren't even that hot. And then the other guy's like, well, we tried. I'm Jewish too. I don't know nothing about Catholic girls. And then he like walks over, and the priest is like, oh, hello, you're a new kid here. And he's like, oh, hi, I'm Mike. Hello, Father. And he's like, it's so nice to meet he's like a strong, handsome young man like you, and like touches his shoulder. And then
Mike's like, this dude's into me.
Yeah, Mike immediately thinks that, goes home and asks Rami Malek's character, who at this point is living with the family because...
And is now openly gay.
Is now openly gay. His parents have disowned him because of it, and he now lives with the Golds. And Mikey asks Kenny, he's just like, how do you know if a guy is hitting on you? Great joke. He's like, I'm only a technical gay because he hasn't touched
Rami
anybody.
Malek is on the phone with his agent in this, so he's not taking it seriously.
He's like, I'll make Freddie Mercury roll in his grave. Anything to get out of here. I will say, Rami Malek, I don't think your performance of Freddie Mercury is bad. I think the script is bad, and you did what you had to do to make it work. No shade, but then
some shade apparently.
Some shade, but that movie was just awful. But Mikey then talks to Hillary about it, and she's like, "A guy hit on me, an older man. It was a priest." And then Hillary's like, "That he probably was hitting on you." And then instead of telling anybody or bringing it up to his parents, Mike's big plan is like, well, obviously I need to seduce the priest and give him another shot at me.
Yeah, I don't really understand what his motive is. Is it to get fucked by a priest?
I think he just wants to confirm.
He wants to confirm that the priest was hitting on him.
I don't think he would have actually done anything with the priest. He just wanted to make sure he understood what was happening. I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
But we're subjected to literally like 3 minutes of a kid bending over in front of a priest going, oops,
my shoe's untied.
Yeah, it's like,
God,
it is
man.
a long scene.
It is, yeah. It's a bit much. I'll say it. Not okay. And then we tie them together.
Ironically, I had to be high to watch this show.
Yeah. They had to be high to write it too, probably. So.
I can't imagine anyone in the writer's room laughing at it.
You know what? I can. 2005. I want to know if you were a writer on this show, please reach out.
This is a thing that does bug me about this media, or like this kind of premise of a joke, because it's weird. It's one of the few jokes that is about something horrible that went out of style because it got hacky.
Yes, not because people are like, this is wrong, but because so many people did it.
Yeah, so many people did the jokes.
And it was hacky in the 80s. Like, Married with Children was this type of thing, as was All in the Family.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's already been done better. It's not even really commentary on like 2005. Like, it's very, it is
there
in the
is no
sense
commentary
of, like,
in 2005. These are just like general issues that existed long before. If you want
Yeah.
commentary from 2005 about a kid and the parent doesn't understand a kid, there should be an episode where Michael Rappaport has to watch Homestar Runner and just be like, I don't get it.
wait, why are we making fun of this cigarette with special needs or whatever Homestar Runner is? Bowling pin that had a head injury?
His kid's just laughing at it. He doesn't understand it all. Strong bad email.
That would be such a good episode compared to everything we got.
My day, we had Howdy Doody. I don't know what to do with these kids anymore, and I hate my wife. I'm going to go smoke pot on the roof.
So he gets locked on a roof.
He gets locked on a roof, yeah. A+ fake stoned acting from Michael Rappaport of just trying to hold it together, talking about
Fake.
the stars. And that's what convinces Vicky that he has a serious drug problem and has to go to Pot Smokers Anonymous.
Which, why is that a thing? Like, is that a thing?
It is a thing. I've seen ads on the subway where it's like, is marijuana a problem for you? Call this number for support. And it's
got to be run by pot dealers that are just looking for clients.
Yeah, it's like that Breaking Bad subplot where Jesse's selling meth to addicts and in recovery. Yeah. But he goes and he goes up and he's like, I don't really have a problem, but my wife says I need to come here. But yeah, sure, I get high a little bit. And yeah, I slept on the roof last night. Okay, I might have a problem. I'll see you next week. Which, that section, I was like, that's very funny. Watching him in real time, be like, okay, I might have a little bit of a problem. I'll see you next week. Very funny.
I don't, but I like it's that weird thing of like moralizing around weed. Like it's like the only reason he's having these problems is because it's illegal.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Like if he was just allowed to get high at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
None of this would have been a problem if his kid hadn't taken his jacket.
Yeah. And he had one joint in a pocket and smoked half of it.
Because he was trying to be a better. I did like that joke.
That was a funny. There are some funny when the lines aren't. When it's not punching down on people, there are some zingers in here. And yeah, I should have smoked the whole joint. I used to do that, but I was trying to be responsible.
Well, yeah.
But
I like that. Good.
But yeah, I think the important thing to note about that scene, though, is at the end, Martin Mull is also there. He's like, I am at Pop Smokers Anonymous because I used
4 years clean.
But now that I see that you were telling the truth about your son, I will unsuspend him. That's just how the episode ends.
That's how the episode ends. Well, no, the episode ends with the priest coming over and saying, I think your son tried to...
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, no.
But yeah, that is the resolution to the Larry was suspended plot line. Yeah, which is... And then they kind of laugh. The way that, like, recovering alcoholics will be like, now that I'm recovered, I can joke about my rock bottom. Just that, like, you slept on the roof. Yeah, I slept on the roof. I slept on the roof. And they're, like, laughing about a thing that... would probably be a wake-up call if it wasn't just like I got high and my wife locked me out of the house. If the story was I got blackout and woke up on the roof of my house, like I thought maybe I have a problem. Like,
that would make sense.
That would make more sense than this.
You got high and the window closed.
Yeah.
Does the next episode continue with the plotline of the child flirting with the priest? Or do they just abandon it?
They abandon it. It's very sitcom-y, I think.
In the real world, the next 5 seasons would be them going to therapy with that
well, it
kid.
got canceled after this season, but
going to court.
Going to court. The dad's getting sent to jail for a negligible amount of marijuana, and and then a documentary comes out 10 years later about his wrongful conviction.
It's weird that this is the top rated episode.
It is. You want to know which? So, is there anything else? Because I really want to bring up another episode of this that I watched.
First of all, I think it's top rated because Martin Mull has so many fans.
I love Martin Mull. I get so excited anytime I see him.
Big Mull heads out there.
Oh my god! I'm like Lucille Bluth. Anytime I see Martin Mull, I freak the fuck out. I lose my mind. I'm so happy to see him.
Excellent Gene Parmesan reference.
Yeah. I think we basically discussed if we think the highest rated episode is an improvement, and no, I don't think it is at all. It's a lateral move.
You think it's lateral? I think it's an improvement in that.
I don't know if this episode specifically, but I can tell the show got better.
I mean, they got a GLAAD award for how they handled Kenny coming out. And I did watch that episode, and it's still Michael Rappaport's kind of an asshole about it, but he is like, Kenny comes out to him kind of by accident, and then Michael Rappaport is like, he does it in a stumbling way, but he's like, that's not that there's anything wrong with that. He gives him like a little pep talk, and for your son's friend dropping that on you, it's like, you know what? He didn't make fun of him, or I think he probably got a couple gay jokes in, but like
for sure.
But it is sweet. And then Rami Malek's like, I'm gonna go tell my parents. Okay, he's like, yeah, imagine how good that'll feel. You told me, go tell your parents. And then his very conservative parents kick him out of the house, and he lives. Also, it's not really established, but Rami Malek's family lives next door. They are next door neighbors. Which is made clear later. And in an episode that I watched, that if you think these episodes have aged like milk, there is an episode where Michael Rappaport and Kenny's father get into a dispute about the property line and who can plant a bush on what side. And the episode is called Gaza Strip.
Oh.
And it is, and they really lean into the Israel-Palestine metaphor and who owns the property that they are trying to plant a bush on. And it is very Islamophobic, and the amount of jokes that are like, in my country, my wife can't even look at me. That sounds great. That's
oh my god,
it's a lot of that kind of stuff, and it is wild. And
Yeah, let's boost that one up. That's the new top rated
That
episode.
should be the top rated one today, now more than ever. What we need is Michael Rappaport taking on Israel Palestine. Good Lord.
I'm sure he's talked about it on TikTok or something.
I'm sure he keeps talking about it. It's Zionist as it is.
You want to put in a clip of Michael Rappaport talking about Israel Palestine on TikTok right here?
Okay, guys, if you're enjoying the episode, why don't you pop on over to Spotify, give us a 5-star review. Really helps us out, makes us look like there are people listening to this, because there are 100 of you. It's great. We're big fans. Anyway, so rate, review on Spotify, and while you're on Spotify, go check out Kevin Froleiks' alternative rock album under Good Charlemagne. Goodbye, Charlemagne. It's Goodbye, Charlemagne. Not to be confused with Good Charlotte. Don't listen. You can listen to Good Charlotte, but listen to Goodbye Charlemagne first, and then think if you still want to listen to Good Charlotte after, because I don't think that's going to be the case. Anyway, so go listen to Goodbye Charlemagne and his new album, We Have Your Son. Now please take him back. So go do that. Follow us all on Instagram. I'm at DPIC Comedy. Daniel's at Daniel F. Crow. And Kevin's at Kevin Froleiks. Check out my YouTube special, Goblin King. Also, I'm doing a live show in Brooklyn at the Three Diamond Door on January 13th. I want to say it's whatever. It's a Wednesday. I'll look it up later. You'll have more. Listen to the next episode. I'll have gotten it right by then. But check out the next episode of the podcast. It's not out yet. Or it is. Time is linear. But yeah, I'm doing a show. It's called Christian Science Theater 3000. We make fun of really bad Christian movies. And we're doing a movie, Assassin 33 AD, which is one of my favorites. It's about Muslims finding out about time travel and trying to use it to go back in time to kill Jesus. It's wild. Anyway, so if you're in New York, that's a very fun show to come check out. And that's it. Okay, back to the episode. Well, that was a lot.
Wow,
God.
Wow.
Holy
Wow.
shit. Oh,
Wow.
my God.
David, I can't believe that you were like, he makes some great points. That's crazy.
Speaking of great points, what would you do to improve the show?
Oh, my God.
Besides, and actually, we'll just add in, who would you recast the lead with?
Well, Mike O'Malley. I think
Okay.
once we said that, it's like, oh my God, like, because he can play like the slubby dad. He's great in Yes Dear, but he also has kind eyes. And like, he would make some jokes making fun of his kids, but I don't think he would be like as mean spirited as Michael Rappaport comes off. I think that would help it. I thought all the kids were good. I would fire all the writers.
Okay.
That's what I would do to improve it. And I think the show is missing a great theme song. It just has that graphic and the sound effect of like the glass breaking as the title falls in. I think it needs a banger theme song. And that's what would have made it a little bit more memorable than it was.
Yeah, no, it was not. It was not. The theme song was not good.
There was,
because it just was.
It's just not
It's
even
like
there.
a stinger.
Yeah,
that's
it,
what they were doing. I feel like that was like mid 2000. Just be like,
Yeah.
ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yeah, even that would be an improvement. It doesn't. It just kind of. It's the crashing sound as the title crashes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I think I would improve it by they clearly want to do the mockumentary style with the cutaways they have people saying their point.
Yeah.
So lean fully into it. Do the whole mockumentary style. You might end up accidentally making Modern
I was
Family
gonna say,
5
yeah.
years before Modern Family.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be a good. I'm gonna. Would you recast the lead? Would you recast?
You would just, I don't know, slot in the cast of Modern Family.
Yeah.
Just everybody.
No, Mike O'Malley. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike O'Malley's a good one.
Okay, here's who I would pick for the lead. Ron Riacco Lee.
Who's that?
He is the lead character in Survivor's Remorse, written by Mike O'Malley.
Here we go.
Here we go. Let's create the universe.
He would be
here.
great.
Yeah.
Honestly, he is incredible in the show. He was the brother, or not the brother. He was the love interest in Sister.
How old is he?
Oh, yeah.
He was born in 1976.
Okay, so he
would be able. He would absolutely.
I was going to say if he's younger, he could have played Butte.
Butte, yeah.
Oh no.
I thought Butte was well casted.
Yeah, Butte was fine. I haven't seen anything
Butte
more.
didn't have a lot to do. He pretty much should have went, "Hi, I'm Butte."
Yeah.
And that was
That's
it.
true.
Look
That's
at my
true.
swagger.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is, that is true. But I'm saying he didn't do I mean, I would. Another improvement is get rid of that whole plot line and the whole seducing a priest. Most of the plot lines, I would scrap those.
It is that thing where it's like, we're going for it. And it's like, but what are you going for?
What are you going for? I don't know. Coming soon to the Daily Wire is the War at Home reboot, I'm sure, where they changed nothing and they just recast it with Ben Shapiro as Michael Rappaport.
The hand at job.
Yeah.
This show is essentially kids say the darndest things, but with dads.
Dads say the most problematic thing.
Okay. Kevin, you want to recommend a show for people to check out?
Yeah. You know what? I was trying to think of a better show to watch than this that is from a similar era, maybe even a little bit earlier, but also tries to go as offensive as possible, but does the satire part of it
properly.
It is very clearly satire and very funny. Go back and watch Strangers with Candy, the Amy Sedaris, Stephen Colbert, Paul Dinello show. It is wildly offensive, but it is making fun of like 80s, 90s after school specials. And every episode is like the butt of the joke is, wow, these are terrible people. It's not a joke. The joke does not fall on the things that they're making fun of. It doesn't.
Yeah,
like
Amy Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris is the villain of her own show in each one.
She's incredible.
She's incredible in it. And
watch anything Amy Sedaris is in.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch Theater Camp as well.
Go to her home. Watch
She's in
it through
for
a
2
window.
minutes. Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
She'll let you. She lives in New York.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
Honestly,
her address is
her
58.
Her Instagram, honestly, is very funny.
It is funny.
Weird.
Oh, I follow her on Instagram. She shared a story of mine because I was like rewatching Strangers with Candy. God, this is so good. And then she shared it. I was like, Amy Sedaris, woman of the people. I really appreciate it. So, yeah.
At Home with Amy Sedaris. Also watch that.
At Home with Amy Sedaris. Yeah. Okay. Also watch Winning Time because it's a great show. And for whatever reason, David Zaslav doesn't want to promote or continue a great show. So
which one's Winning Time?
That's the one about the Lakers.
It's already canceled.
It is canceled.
Yeah.
But watch it because it's great. And make them regret it. I love it. And I am not a sports fan. It is a phenomenal show.
Okay.
Just a great story. And the acting in it is great. It's so funny.
I like
Larry
Friday
Bird
Night
is just
Lights
a white trash like Indiana hick, and it's so good. The guy who plays Kareem and Magic
Daniel,
Johnson.
you got a show?
Yeah,
right,
I also have a sports show.
Okay.
Nickelodeon Guts.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
Guts.
Tell them what they're gonna win. Mo.
The aggro crag.
I would actually replace the lead character with the aggro crag. I think that would, or Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I guess in many ways, Michael Rappaport is an aggro crag.
Yeah.
He would be a lot to climb. He's very tall.
I would like if Olmec was in this show and was just like, you're going to find a joint in your pocket. But first, you must avoid 3 temple guards. Then you must assemble the shrine of the silver monkey.
Be warned, the temple guards may or may not be gay.
But they will be in drag.
And they will grab your children and horrify you.
Unless your child tries to seduce the temple guards. That'll be uncomfortable for all of us.
Now everyone smoke half a joint and go.
All right, guys, check out Survivor. Just that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, the show I'd recommend The Shield.
Oh,
From the same age, a defensive show about a guy who's actively pretty bad. But The Shield's great.
never saw it, but I have heard it's one of the like top shows ever. Like it's up there with The Wire for that era of television.
I will say it's what kind of brought it. Without that, you don't get Breaking Bad. It's kind of what brought it to being on not just like cable or not like subscription cable.
Yeah.
Also, he does. What was the other thing about it? I totally lost my train of thought. It doesn't matter. I can edit all of this out.
Yeah.
Don't leave it in.
Typical War at Home editing strategy. Hey, why edit something out when you can just double down on it?
But it's about an unlikable lead in the same time period, and it has the best end. It has one of the best endings for a show because you go through 7 seasons of a show where you're like, how are they going to land this plane? And they do. They land it perfectly.
Do you know what I think the best ending of a show is? When a priest shows up and was like, hey, your son was hitting on me.
That's how the Shield ends.
It's the same priest too.
Oh yeah, they're in this. They share the Warring Home and the Shield share the same universe.
What if the war at home just ends with the priest shaking a snow globe?
Yeah. Isn't there a theory where like that kid, like every sitcom is like connected?
Like every show, which
like
means
the Tommy something theory.
Westfall.
Yeah.
Which means that kid imagined that kid flirting with a priest.
Yes, he did.
He imagined all of
Well, we have
this.
to find the connection, and I don't know enough about Saint Elsewhere and the series that it crossed over with, but
I'm
Oh
sure
my God.
Detective.
How funny would it be if someone knocked on the door right now and we're like, oh no. That's how the podcast ends too?
Ah!